Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not here to save your soul. We're here to save your business, save your job, save our community. And I'm glad to be here on this special edition Juneteenth show. We actually experienced Juneteenth on yesterday. Today is June 20th. And man, I'll tell you, this holiday is really starting to take hold. I was over at the National Harbor yesterday where they had a Juneteenth celebration. And man, things were rocking over there. I mean, things were really, really rocking. As a matter of fact, let me just show you how they were rocking. Left to the left, right foot, left foot, then turn with it. Right foot, left foot, then turn with it. Now, let's go. Let's go. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Then turn. Let's go. Yes, indeed. Things were rocking yesterday over at the National Harbor. They have an annual celebration over there. Right there on the waterfront, got the big wheel in the background. You got the statue, the awakening right there at the foot, and you have all types of things going on. So yesterday was a great recognition of Juneteenth. Juneteenth was passed, I think, in 2021 under the Biden administration, and people actually started to take hold. Everybody kind of wondered if Trump was going to undo it, but he wanted to. I could tell it was eating at him. He's talking about, well, we're taking too many paid days off. We're not getting any work done. And he's kind of working his way towards canceling the holiday. But anyway, that happened on yesterday. Matter of fact, it was a good day to go out and support a small black business. I went out to this art shop and bought this piece of art to kind of show my appreciation for and support a small black business in the community. And matter of fact, this was a very talented artist. I'll probably be hanging this piece in my office. And so that's my one of my ways of celebrating Juneteenth is to go out and support our small black businesses or our businesses of any type. We're in a period right now where we need to be supporting each other in every way we can. So that was my way of showing my appreciation by going out to the Juneteenth and supporting not only that shop, but I supported many of they had black shops set up all along the boardwalk over at National Harbor yesterday. So if you're in the DC area and you're looking for a good way to celebrate Juneteenth in the future, there's a party going on at the National Harbor. Let's go. Hey, look. Here we go. Slide to the right. To the right. Slide to the left. To the left. Right foot, left foot, then turn with it. Right foot, left foot, then turn with it. Now, let's go. Let's go. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Then turn. Let's go. Now, of course. Now, of course, Juneteenth is not just a time to go out and celebrate. It's a time to do things, substantive things. That's what we're going to talk about today. Liberation, how mental liberation can lead to financial freedom. In other words, free your mind and your assets will follow. We're going to talk about that a little later on. Let's talk about some other things that are going on. And by the way, Juneteenth, as we already know, was the celebrated on the 19th of June. It's a portmanteau. Takes the word June and 19th and create the word Juneteenth. And it commemorates the day that the Major General Gordon Granger ordered the final enforcement of the Emancipation Proclamation in the city of Galveston, Texas. These folks didn't even realize they were free until he came in and spread the word. Let's see what else is going on. I want to do a couple of tributes to a couple of music legends that we lost this month. And this is kind of close to home because, I mean, besides many of the other hats that I wear, I'm also a musician. I play a couple of instruments, play a keyboard and guitar and a couple of brass instruments, baritone, horn, trombone. As a matter of fact, that was my major in college. That's how I got into college before I changed my major to pre-law. But we've had two music greats that we lost during this month. The first one was Wayne Lewis. I want to talk about. Wayne Lewis was one of the founding members of Atlantic Starr. And that's another why these tributes hit home. These were two of my favorite groups in the world. Anybody who knew me knew that my favorite groups were Atlantic Starr and Sly and the Family Stone. And one was because they were family groups. Each one of the groups had 3 founding members that were actually blood relatives. And they were also musicians, of course, like I say, like my family. We have a very musical family. Like myself and Daniel and Curtis and Joe, we all play instruments. And we all try to sing when we get a chance. But Wayne Lewis was the founding member of Atlantic Starr. You've probably heard many of their songs, Am I Dreaming, Send For Me, was that Secret Lovers, When Love Calls, Round in Circles. Wayne passed away on June 5th at the age of 68. He and his brothers, David and Jonathan, were founding members of the group along with this lady, Barbara Weathers. And Wayne was he was the leader, but he was kind of like one of the brainchilds behind many of the songs that they wrote. Let's hear a little taste of it. Monday to night until you compare. If you go away, so think about the misery, yeah, that you're gonna put me through. Yeah. That's Wayne Lewis saying goodbye. Goodbye, my brother. Sorry to see you leave us at such an early age. Wayne, of course, he was a keyboardist, and he also played vocals. He was one of the lead vocals in the group Atlantic Starr. Another great that we lost was Sly Stone, one of the founding members of Sly and the Family Stone. He was a songwriter, producer, and multi-instrumentalist. Played keyboards among some of the other instruments that he played. And he also had his siblings in the group, much like Atlantic Starr. His brother Freddie Stone was a guitarist. He was also one of the vocalists. And his sister Rose was a keyboardist, and she also did vocals. So that was Sly and the Family Stone. And we know them from Dance to the Music, Hot Fun in the Summertime, Want to Take You Higher, Everybody's a Star. Let's get a taste of Sly and the Family Stone here. Dance to the music. Dance to the music. Dance. That's Sly. Sly and the Family Stones. Sly, of course, passed away this month. He was in his 80s, and he was what they call ahead of his time. So anyway, that's we've been traditionally on this show paying tributes to the people we've lost over the years. And so just go back to the annals of the show. And this has been like a meeting place for us to grieve and give ourselves a big collective hug as we lose these people who have made such an impact on our lives. And Wayne Lewis of Atlantic Starr and Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone, Sylvester Stone, we call him Sly for short. They are no exception, and we dedicate this show to Wayne Lewis and Sylvester Sly Stone. What else is happening in the news here? Let's see. Well, we had a No Kings March a week ago where 5 million people took to the streets. Over 5 million people took to the streets. And about 2,100 cities and towns across the country, in addition to people protesting overseas. about their disdain for some of the policies of Donald Trump and his actions that seem to be taking on the countenance of a king. And people don't like that. I mean, that's quite a few people. In Philadelphia, over 100,000 people came out. Chicago had about 75,000. Places like in Michigan and other places had over 800. So this was a protest, and it was also to counter the president's military parade, which had a very meager attendance. And so this is something to watch. And I understand there'll be other no king protests in the coming days. I think we all have our right to our opinion on politics. But I think in this case, it's not as much about whether you're a Democrat or Republican or whether you're right or wrong in different political areas. This is about preserving democracy, and that no single branch of government should be dictating the policies of this country. We have three branches of government for a reason. We have the judicial branch, which is the Supreme Court. We have the legislative branch, which is House of Representatives and the Senate. And of course, we have the executive branch, which is the president. And they have gone vacant. They've gone absent. They've gone AWOL. And so what the protest was mainly about was, of course, there was some disagreement with his policy, but the main area was that we don't want a king. We have a democracy, and that's what people should adhere to. So I say, voice your opinion, let your opinion be known. Of course, it was peaceful. I say keep it peaceful, whatever you decide to do. Also, this is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We're going to be talking in a few minutes about free your mind and your assets will follow. How mental liberation can lead to financial freedom. Right now, we're talking about some of the items in the news. Let's see, about a week ago, Israel launched its Operation Rising Lion in response to intelligence it claimed showed that Iran was approaching, in quotes, the point of no return in the development of a nuclear weapon. Of course, they called the strikes a decisive moment in Israel's history. And Benjamin Netanyahu said the strikes would go on as long as necessary. Of course, Iran labeled the attacks as an act of war and responded with its own missile attacks. And they've gotten through the Iron Dome on several occasions, and they've hit some of the population centers, some of the military targets. And but both nations are fighting it out. And of course, when these things happen, the civilians are usually the one that bear the brunt of these kind of actions. As of Thursday morning, the human rights group, a Washington-based human rights group, said about 639 Iranians had been killed, and about 24 have been killed in Israel. And most of those have been civilians on both sides. Now, yes, every country has a right to defend itself. That's true. But no, you can't just attack everybody you disagree with or feel that you are threatened by. If that was the case, we'd have everybody be shooting at each other. If you seem to be a threat, I'm going to attack you. We can't live our lives like that. We can't go shoot the neighbor because he looks threatening. We can't do that in our personal lives, and we shouldn't be doing this as a country. And the thing I would just ask of the United States is to be consistent. Be consistent. Don't change the rules of the game based on the country that you support. That's all I'm saying. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about freedom in honor and recognition of Juneteenth. We're going to talk about freeing yourself from limiting beliefs and societal expectations, negative thought patterns, and how that mental liberation can have a profound impact on your financial freedom. Hang on a second. You don't want to miss this segment. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we'll be back in a moment. All right, we're back. We're back. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. This is our Juneteenth show. I'm broadcasting from a different location today, but I just felt compelled this morning based on the good, the good love and camaraderie and community that I experienced yesterday over the National Harbor during the Juneteenth celebration. And people came out in groves, and they were jamming it up over there. All right, we're going to talk about freedom in line with Juneteenth. Of course, Juneteenth is all about freedom. It's about when African Americans who were enslaved were officially freed. In one of the last places that didn't even know that the Emancipation Proclamation had been declared 3 years earlier over in Galveston, Texas. And we still have people now that don't know they've been freed. Still stuck in a mindset that's holding them back. So freedom is not just a physical bondage or lack thereof, but there's also a mental bondage that comes with it when you don't declare your freedom. So I'm asking you today to declare your freedom. Declare your mental freedom. And in paraphrasing the words of the great George Clinton, free your mind and your assets will follow. Let me give some tips on how to do that. First of all, you have to cultivate a growth mindset. It starts up here. Embrace learning. View challenges as an opportunity. Focus on improvement. Up here. Start with a growth mindset. And you have to visualize success. You have to look into the future and say, what does success look like to me? Is it a $5 million business? Is it hiring 5 more employees? Is it putting people to work? Is it growing a big portfolio of assets? What does success look like to you? So practice some visualization skills and techniques. Setting goals. Set some clear financial goals. What is it you're trying to do? I remember a few years when I was having some tough times, and I set some of the most challenging goals when I was down at my lowest peak, because I knew that's what it was going to take to get me out of that hole I was in. Sometimes when things are going great, we got the nice cars and houses and wearing the nice designer labels and taking trips every month. We forget about goals because you figure you've already reached the promised land. You can't do that. You have to continually set financial goals. Sometimes it's a matter of solidifying and buttressing what you already have, but you can't go to sleep behind the wheel. So be specific. If you have $1 million in the bank, say by 1.5 years, I want to make that 2 million. If you have 50,000 in the bank, say, look, by 2027, I want to make that 100,000, and work towards it. That's called freeing your mind, and then your assets follow. Now, what you have to do also is take responsibility for your financial situation. Nobody's going to save you. I'm telling you. You have to take responsibility and accountability for where you are and where you plan to get to. And you can do it once you set the right mindset. It is so possible. It's doable. So empower yourself, free that mind, and have at it. Now, of course, you got to educate yourself financially. There's so many tools out here. There's workshops. There's brilliant minds that have tackled this topic. And so let's tap into that body of knowledge and educate ourselves. You don't know it all. Times change. Financial instruments change. The economy changes. What's working today might not work tomorrow. Educate yourself. Stay on top of things. And also surround yourself with positive influences. People that have done all right. Now, you don't have to do exactly what they do, but you can follow their mindset, tap into their mindset, their spirit. Build a network that will improve your net worth. We've talked about that on many occasions, how your network has a great impact on your net worth. So get around those folks that make some money, that know what they're doing. I mean, you don't have to be a leech, but go to their workshops, tap into their podcasts, and go to the meetings where they're appearing and get in their Rolodex. Let some of that success rub off on you. I want you to practice mindfulness too. Work on reducing your anxiety. Learn to exhale. Realize it's going to be okay if you put your mind to it. Tone that stress down. Stressing out and pulling your hair out and beating your head on the wall is not going to fix it. It's going to make it worse. So when you go out and spend money, ask yourself, is this money going to align with my financial goals? And that's something that really was a game changer for me. Even when it comes to holidays, when people are buying me things, I don't need that. Get me a new printer, daggone it. I need a new iPhone. I do not need another soap on a rope. I do not need another fancy shirt or... No, I can get that stuff myself. You're not going to get it right anyway. So give me something I can use. So when you ask me, what do you want for the holiday, for Father's Day, or get ready to be bored? I'm going to look. I just saw this new gadget. It's going to make my life different. Give me a new camera. I want the 4K. So anyway, that's making sure that we are practicing mindfulness, and that the things that we buy, the things that we ask others to buy, align with our financial goals. That's going to reduce your stress and make yourself more mindful and aware of where you're trying to go. Now, also in this technical age, learn to automate things. That's another way to free up your mind. You want to free up your psychic energy. Free up your psychic energy by learning to delegate and automate certain tasks. You're going to run yourself crazy. What little hair you have left, what little black hair you have that hasn't turned gray, you're going to accelerate that process if you don't learn how to delegate and automate some things. Don't be running from this AI. Don't let it use you. I want you to use it, but use it wisely, and use it to make it align with your goals, to make you some money and to build your financial freedom. But as long as you're doing this stuff the old-fashioned way, saying, that stuff is voodoo, it's going to blow up and it's going to take all my personal information, let me tell you, you stand a better chance of some knucklehead knocking you over the head walking down the street. So don't make yourself put yourself in this cocoon that it inhibits your financial freedom. Automate, delegate, streamline. Now stay committed to your personal development. Invest in yourself. Workshop, read books. Tune into the Marketing Pulpit Show. Wink, wink. Network. Invest in you. I've told you. Nobody's going to save you but you. You are it. You entrepreneurs out here, you signed on to this entrepreneurship. Some people just figure, well, since I can make a good cake or cut a good grass, or I can balance the books and I can get you out of jail, that you can be a good business person. Now those things help, but you got to invest in that personal growth, that personal knowledge. Those degrees are going to take you so far. That skill you picked up that was passed on from generation to generation, it has to be aligned with today's age, what's going on today. Old keys don't unlock new doors. So stay committed to personal growth and development. That's important as we talk about liberating our mind and creating financial freedom. That's what we're talking about today on this Juneteenth, special Juneteenth show. And what I want you to do also, many people talk, but they never give you a call to action. They say, okay, that was nice. Now, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Well, that's something I try to always be mindful of. Let people know what you want them to do. So start small. Like I said, if you're trying to get to this certain point financially, start out by saying, look, let me just try a 3-month goal. Okay, I'm sitting on $100,000. Can I make this $110,000 in 3 months? Or can I make it 125? You may have a business and you have a certain sales. You've been hitting at $100,000 a year or a month. Can I increase that by 20%? You may look at your spending and you may say, look, I want to cut back on superfluous spending. Okay, I've been taking a trip every month. Maybe I can do it every 3 months and put some of that money back into the business or in savings or investments. So every little thing that you change can help you toward that moment when you are financially free. And you got to acknowledge when you make these accomplishments, when you hit these milestones, you don't go out and get drunk. But you might pat yourself on the back and sit back and soak it up for a minute. So, okay, wow, it's doable. I can do this. Because you take those small steps and it makes you realize you can take larger steps. Whether it's getting a certification, whether it's going back to school and doing some other things, whether it's expanding your business, saving money, investing. I remember when I first got into the stock market, I just bought one stock. One stock. I think I spent I hate to say it, but it was like $300 on Tesla. Jesus Christ. Why did man blow things up? Why you can just leave things alone? You can't be if you're a owner of $1 billion company, leave your personal politics out of it. That's not fair to your investors. That's not fair to the company, to the stakeholders. We don't care what your political leanings are. But when you put it out there, so anyway, I'm going off the handle here. I bought one stock. I just wanted to see how it works. Hey, I just made $100. Hey, I bought another stock. So now I bought some IBM. Not even IBM, I bought Microsoft. I bought Radio One. Then I bought some Apple. Then I started watching the market. I started going back trying to educate myself. Next thing I know, I bought NVIDIA. And next thing you know, you have a portfolio. But I started small. Take action. I was listening to a radio show. And somebody mentioned this, what is it called? What's the thing called? This app, Robinhood. So if you're thinking about getting into the marketplace, there's a little app called Robinhood. You can go in there tomorrow, set up, and you can be buying stocks in 5 minutes. Just buy something small. If that's what you want to do. Maybe you want to put your money in a 5% interest-bearing savings account. There's CIT Bank. There's all these different platforms out there that'll put your money in there, and you sit there, and next thing you know, you have about $50,000 in the bank. You can be bring in about $250 a month. It's free money almost. You might look at some type of recurring income. Look at your business and say, what can I turn into recurring income versus having to get up and go to work every day? Because as I get older, I don't want to do that. So start taking these concrete steps now as we create this mindset that's taking us towards financial freedom. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Once again, I appreciate you tuning in to the Marketing Pulpit Show. We're going to be making some changes coming up in the next few days. We're going to be a little more interactive. We're going to be bringing in guests. Add a little more visuals to the show. So that's what I've been doing the last few days, is trying to think about this show and how we're going to take it to that next level. Because if you don't change things up, it gets a little stale. Think, I've seen this guy. You said that before. Well, yeah, some of it, but times change. You go to the Bible, go to church every Sunday. It's the same Bible. Sometimes the message doesn't change, but the circumstances and the context changes. So that's what we're going to do. Once again, happy Juneteenth, and to all the fathers that celebrated Father's Day last week. Happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day to you. Happy Juneteenth, everybody who celebrated Juneteenth yesterday. Go out here and support a small Black business. Try to keep this money local. We need your support. Thank you to BLE Executive Suites, Miss Bernadette Clay. Black-owned business that offers office space and accounting service and business service and phone services, 3 locations. We have the resources in the community. We just need to let people know where they are, who they are. And when you're celebrating Juneteenth, you're out there doing the boots on the ground and the electric slide. Go ahead and have your fun, but let's keep our eye on the prize. Keep our eye on the ball. I'll be back next week. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm going to take us out with some of the videos we showed today about Wayne Lewis from Atlantic Star slashed on Juneteenth, and there's no King's rally. So we'll see you next week right here on the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. Enjoy your weekend, and let's go out here and free our mind and let our assets follow. This is Wayne Lewis.